Welcome to the Tao of Our Understanding Recovery Podcast. In this podcast, we discuss mystical works of literature and how they relate to recovery. We hope you enjoy today's podcast episode.
Hello, this is Buddy C. Welcome to the Tao of Our Understanding Recovery Podcast. Today we have Kate and Drew and Oscar. Good to have you guys. Today we'll be talking about the story of the importance of being toothless. Okay, we'll see what this has to say. Before we do, we like to talk about two things. One, a resource at buddyc.org, a free resource, and a synchronistic moment. In this podcast, we talk about how really mystic philosophy, Taoist philosophy relates and speaks to our recovery. We're all in 12-step recovery of some type. That's what we do. This is not a philosophy. If you're into philosophy and all those things, I doubt you would like this podcast. We talk about how this relates to us, how it speaks to us. When I first read the Tao Te Ching, I was like, wow. What I find is either this speaks to you or it does not speak to you. There really is not much in between. We hear quotes from the Tao all the time that we just don't realize are from the Tao. And a lot of quotes in recovery, like our little slogans that we have on the wall, let go and let God. That's a very Taoist quote. The third step is very Taoist. The 11th step is very Taoist. You may say, oh, they talk about God and they talk about this. Everyone's at their own place with what they believe a higher power is, or all the ways they are experiencing it, experiencing life as, at the moment, or experiencing what's going on. If somebody describes things different from me, I have learned not to be offended by that, not to think I need to correct them. I've learned to just take that as their God language. I have my God language. Each of us have our own. It's slightly different and it changes. Can I just let folks be? Very Taoist. So I hope you enjoy the podcast. The resource I want to talk about first is the Fourth Dimensioners nightly 9 p.m. Eastern open online meeting of AA. It's been going since the first of the pandemic. It's every night, 9 p.m. Eastern. ZoomAAmeetings.com is the link. Check it out if you ever need an online meeting. I have a number of other meetings under the resources. I think it's resources tab at buddyc.org. There's a 24-hour meeting that I think is out of New Zealand that anytime I've gone on there, I never went on the meeting without 100 people at least on the meeting. They have folks all around the world that participate. So check that out if you ever need the links at buddyc.org. Now our synchronistic moment. Drew, you have something for us, sir?
Yeah, I do. Middle of this past week, probably about Wednesday or so, I was looking through some old text messages. I don't remember what for. I saw that an old friend of mine from college, we had a little bit of a text conversation back in 2018. And the last thing that happened in our text thread was he asked if I wanted to get together for, I don't know, coffee or lunch or dinner or something. When I saw that, I felt bad about not responding to him. And I realized that had been 8 years. And wow, he asked me to get together 8 years ago and I never responded to him and I haven't heard from him since. Then the next day, just out of the blue, he texted me and said, hey, I was just thinking about you, wondering how you're doing. Hope everything's going all right. I texted him back and asked him how he's doing, and we carried on a little conversation, and I asked him, hey, you want to get together for coffee or lunch or something in a couple of Sundays? And he said, yeah, sure, I'd love that. So we're going to get together in a couple of Sundays. Haven't seen him in a really long time. Really coincidental that I saw his text and felt bad about it. And then the next day, 8 years later, he sent me a text and now we're getting together.
Thank you, Drew. I always want to understand how that's facilitated. What is it that caused that to happen?
Yeah, it wasn't like a week had gone by. It really was 8 years.
And it really was the next day.
It really was the next day. Yeah.
I can't believe you ghosted your friend like that, Drew.
I was in a dark place.
I'm glad you're not in that place now.
Yeah, that was before I joined this group.
Maybe it's in reverse. Maybe, could be. Here, I'm trying to figure it out, but so be it. It could be that he desired to get together with you so you were prepared for the conversation, that you realized your place in what was going on and where you had actually erred in the situation, where it gave you an opportunity to amend and you didn't even realize you had done anything wrong. I don't know. Because if I can not make it about me, why is this happening to me? Maybe it's about them. Remember, I had a relationship a long time ago. I facilitated the break off of the relationship, but I kept running into this woman in a town of 25,000 people. The one time a month I went to Kroger to get a prescription filled, I ran into her as she was coming out. I'm like, what is this? I was doing work at an attorney's office, and where she worked happened to be across the street, and she would turn in as I was turning in. I'm like, what is this? And it kept on for a couple of years. And I was just sitting with it one day. And I said, why in the world? How am I causing this? And then I realized that maybe I'm not causing it at all. Maybe she's causing it because she misses me. Come to find out there was something to that. I think I always err by taking a situation and making it all about me. That's what I see in that, not figuring out how it works, because whether I figure it out or not, it works the same. It's not about that. It's about, I'm still thinking about me, aren't I? Isn't that what recovery and spirituality is about? It's not freedom to do what I want to do. It's freedom from having to do what I want to do. It's freedom from myself is what the freedom is. And I'm so grateful for that. I just wished it would hurry up a little bit. That doesn't happen though. It's a process. It's practice, right? It's practice. Let's get to our story today. Kate, you going to read for us, dear?
Yes,
Just
I will.
read all the way through, and then we'll come back to the beginning and see what it holds for us.
All right. The importance of being toothless. Nai Chue, who had no teeth, came to Pi and asked for a lesson in Tao. Maybe he could bite on that. So Pi began. First, gain control of the body and all its organs. Then control the mind. Attain one-pointedness. Then the harmony of heaven will come down and dwell in you. You will be radiant with life. You will rest in Tao. You will have the simple look of a newborn calf. Oh, lucky you! You will not even know the cause of your state. But long before Pi had reached this point in his sermon, the toothless one had fallen asleep. His mind just could not bite on the meat of doctrine. But Pi was satisfied. He wandered away, singing, his body is dry like an old leg bone. His mind is dead as dead ashes. His knowledge is solid, his wisdom true. In deep dark night he wanders free, without aim and without design. Who can compare with this toothless man?
Thank you, Kate. Any thoughts on this before we go back to the beginning?
Yeah, I have something. You talked about freedom for myself, and this is about freedom for myself. So living in harmony is living in freedom for myself. And we do it every night.
Yes.
Thanks.
I love it when I had not looked at the story. We try to not do that, just take it for what it's speaking to us at the moment. I'm amazed at times that this happens, especially with a sponsee. I'll be talking with a sponsee. We'll just be chatting about something in the beginning. I meet with most sponsees an hour a week, and we would talk about it. And then whatever we're reading will be exactly about what we just talked about. Happens all of the time. I'm going to call him Nietzsche and PI, the student and the teacher. He came to the teacher and asked for a lesson on the Tao. And the teacher said, first, gain control of your body. Second, all its organs. Then you can control the mind and attain one-pointedness. Once you attain one-pointedness, then the harmony of heaven will come down and dwell in you. You will be radiant with life. You will rest in the Tao. You will have the simple look of a newborn calf. That's how others will see you. Oh, lucky you, you will not even know the cause of your state. That last sentence reminds me of the 9th step promises, that the changes in our life come about with us not even realizing it. And a lot of times, someone else has to point those things out to us. We don't see them because it's our true nature that's showing. I think the one-pointedness comes back to, this is something in the Tao that is talked about a lot, is surrendering to desires, acceptance of what is. Oscar?
I think the goodness, when you do the meditation with one point, the kind of goal, and as far as I understand, which can be in this, is that you find out that you are one with the point. It's all leading to non-dualism, which is freedom from ourselves. Because when our ego is not babbling all the time, then all is one. And if all is one, there is no problem. And then you will rest in Tao.
Thank you, Oscar. Kate?
This is not about one-pointedness, but I just thought where it says first gain control of the body and all its organs and then control the mind, that made me think about in our sobriety, we first have to get sober. And it says in the big book, you have to take the alcohol out of the body before any of this is going to really stick. And then we have to get control of the mind. Then we have to work on actually the problems of sobriety. But first, we have to control the body and get the actual alcohol out.
Thank you, Kate. Do you know what I realized while I was getting sober was that I kept at working the steps, because the things that got the alcohol out of the body was not what I thought it was. It was not sheer will to do it. It was the transformation that was starting to happen, because the reasons I drank were not what I thought they were. I thought it was just a matter of working harder and doing better. And like a friend of mine said, he wore his do better out. And I can see that because my attempts did not work. There had to be I think they call it a psychic change. It had to be a spiritual change, a change in how I perceive life and how I perceive my part in the world, because fear was running my life. And I found I drank to escape from life because the way I perceived it was all wrong. Here's a verse from the Tao that kind of, for me, talks about some of that. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? Hope and fear are both phantoms that arise from thinking of the self. It's still all about me, right? Hope and fear are both all about me. When we don't see the self as self, what do we have to fear? Now, there's some hope that's okay. I have a sponsee that hasn't quite perceived that fear is not a good thing for him. Oh, I need fear. I said, you don't need the fear we're talking about here, because this is the imagined fear. These are the things that are not happening that we think are happening. It's not I won't pick up that snake because it might bite me. Now I'm not afraid to do it. No, that's not what it's talking about. It's not talking about respect for things that can harm you. It's talking about that fear of financial insecurity that ruled my life and made me work 18 hours a day. And hope can be the same way, because if I am always desiring for my life to be different than it is, that's a form of fear, because I'm unhappy with the way things are. And if I can drop that and just live in a place of This is the best thing going. I can accept the day for what it is. I can be at peace in the day because I found peace came when I accepted, not when things worked out the way I wanted them to work out. Oscar?
It's the only place and time where the ego has nothing to do is here and now. As long as I'm here and now, the ego will be, I won't have any trouble with it. The trouble comes when it starts babbling about the future or past or fears and so on. And I had to think about a conversation, the first conversation I had with my sponsor when we started working the steps. He explained me with the triangle of AA. The triangle of AA is made out of a body, mind, and spirit. And I recognize this, thanks Kate, also in this verse, what PI says. So first control of the body, then control of the spirit, the mind, and then the spirit. And and my sponsor told me, okay, when you work the mind, you take care of your group, you take care of your home group. That's the body of the fellowship. And when you take care of your mind, so first the body is the group, the mind is the recovery itself, so it's the 12 steps, and service is the spirit. So the service in sponsorship between a sponsor and a sponsee. And if you take care of those three elements, so recovery, service, and the group, you take care of body, mind, and spirit. And that's what I started doing from that day on. And another sentence he wrote, he let write me down in this first pages of the book was becoming who you always have been. That's by living the 6 principles, because those three, body, mind, and spirit, are 36 principles. So the mind is the 12 steps, and the traditions is the body and the unity within the group, and concepts are for the service structure of the fellowship. I think it's a very wonderful way of life, made very concrete, but it's so beautiful that all spiritual paths lead to the same goal. It's letting go of the self, letting go of me, being freedom from myself, which is kind of a theme for today. When you read this verse in Chuang Tzu, it's actually the same as doing the steps within the fellowship of Cocaine Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous. You work with the same book and the same triangle. Thank you.
Thanks, Oscar. This is from page 64 in the big book. When the spiritual maladies overcome, we straighten out mentally and physically. Our story talks about first body, mind, spirit, body, organs, mind is the way it says it. But I think in practicality, it works the opposite. I think in practicality, it's spirit, soul, body, because we act our way into right thinking, not think our way into right acting. It starts with an action, and we learn that, and it's also working with others. Page 89, practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. That is not a quote that I would have ever thought before I came into AA I would ever hear, because it sounds so incorrect. Practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as going to rehab or all the other things that we like to put there, when in actuality, the intensive work is with someone else suffering. That gets us out of the moment. That gets us back to the moment, actually, because when we're all stuck in ourselves, like we're talking about, we're not going to see any change. We're not going to see any rest, because then it starts talking about when we're aligned in the Tao can dwell in you. Now it talks about some of the effects of that. You will be radiant with life. What does it mean to be radiant? Glowing brightly, expressing intensely. It doesn't say you're going to be radiant with the Tao. It says you're going to be radiant with life. So outwardly, we're radiant, sharing life itself. That would be compassionate living. And we're at rest inside. Our inner self is at rest. And as a result, we have this simple look as a newborn calf.
It sounds nice. There are nice, clear instructions.
Jesus said in Matthew 18:3-4, truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom. This is kingdom of heaven, kingdom of God. You have to become like little children. You're seen like, you have a simple look like a newborn calf. What does that mean? Kingdom of heaven in this context does not necessarily mean someplace in the sky after you pass. Actually, that word heaven can be translated as the spiritual realm, which is all around us all the time. We have to become like little children. We have a simple look like a newborn calf. What stress do little children have? Huge difference between my stress level and the stress level of a child. Oscar?
When I have something on my mind or some trouble in my life or whatever, and I call my sponsor, he always says, keep it simple. It's always, when you boil it down to the things he tells me, it's always stay close to yourself and keep it simple. Stay close to yourself and keep it simple. So it's always letting go of all the bullshit and all the mess and keep it simple. Not thinking about other people, not thinking what they're thinking, not judging, not analyzing. Just be here now, and it all will unfold from within itself. But it's counterintuitive. It seems to be counterintuitive. But keep it simple is really, I don't even have to call him because I already know what he's going to say. But still, I call him because I need him to say it.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thanks.
How simple is a child's life? Let's say you could say a newborn baby, you could go to a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, whatever. They're fully taken care of. They're wholly dependent on someone. A newborn even needs to be rolled over to sleep. That is total dependence. They can't feed themselves at all. They can't change themselves. They can do nothing except lay there. Is that a cop-out for us? I trust in my abilities too, right? God gave me these abilities. Do I just sit around and do nothing? That's where my mind goes.
Just try for one day. Sit around and do nothing. Try for one day. See what happens. It will come. It will unfold itself. And when I did the first time, I had an evening and it was completely empty. And I thought, okay, I'm going to just sit and do nothing. I got crazy. I really got crazy. My mind went boom, and I wanted to do and walk and go to my computer and this. And suddenly you see, oh, wow, what a mess is this life. I can let it all go. I can let it all go and just sit and do nothing. And of course, somebody will call sooner or later, or my daughter comes home and I take care of them. Or there needs to be food to be bought. It will unfold itself. But I say to sponsors when they come with this, I say try for one day, please. It would be so nice if you try for one day. Sit down and do nothing. And call me after 24 hours. We have a good laugh about it.
Meditation helps me a lot with that.
Yeah.
But if I get up in the morning and I make the mistake of coming over to my computer and start looking at email, start thinking about what all I have to do for the day or think I need to do for the day,
Yeah, then you're lost.
I'm lost.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, Oscar. I think it's speaking a lot to letting go of our desire to change our life, letting go of all of those things that we work to accomplish, and just taking the next right action without adding all of that to the present moment. Doesn't mean you don't do anything. You have times where you may take a break from doing anything at all. And those times are real good for me to see what's really controlling my life that I was not consciously aware was controlling me. Then we start seeing that's the way we look to other people, a simple look. and you will not even know the cause. You don't have to understand recovery for recovery to work for you. I always thought I learned, I understood, then the benefit. When I was a kid and they put a new pinball machine in the local little convenience store, I didn't go in and just start playing. I read the instructions first. I was one of those kids that read the instructions because the goal was not to play and enjoy it. The goal was to have the highest score. That was the goal. And I wanted to play as long as I could. And the only way I could do that and have the high score was to know what I was doing. So people would come in and say, "Oh, wow, whose score is that?" Who, even at 8 years old, that was important to me. Ah, that's the human condition, isn't it? No freedom from Buddy even then. But long before the teacher had reached his point, the toothless one, the student, had fallen asleep. We haven't talked about this. Why do you think it's important that he's the toothless one?
They make a lot of points about him biting into the meat of the
But he can't because he
sermon.
has no teeth.
He can't bite into the meat of the sermon.
But yet he still
He already has
benefited.
it.
Yes. There was
Right.
nothing for him to bite into. He already had all it. Thank you, Kate. Yes. It's not about our natural abilities. It's not about our intellect. We already have, there's nothing for us to achieve or accomplish. This is a hard one for me to say, but maybe there's nothing for me to be led to do.
I'm confused by that. Are we not supposed to accomplish anything? Have goals and stuff? Because I don't want to not have goals.
Ah, okay. Maybe it's more of selfish, self-centered goals originating from fear, goals originating from self. Do I feel there's things for me to do? Yes. I believe there's another book or two for me to write. That you could see that as a goal. Is it coming from a place of selfishness or dishonesty or resentment? I don't think so. Are there other goals that I'm still dropping that are selfishness, dishonesty, and resentment? Could be. And there are some subtle goals that are leaving. So I don't think it's talking about going nowhere because it is a path and it is going somewhere. But accepting the moment for what it is and not getting out in front of myself or behind hope and fear. Here's a quote from Stephen Mitchell, verse 15 of the Tao Te Ching, last little stanza. The master doesn't seek fulfillment, or the master doesn't seek goals to be attained, maybe. Not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. I am a long way for still welcoming. Oh, I'm failing at this. Oh, I welcome that. Can you welcome everything that's going on in your life? Oh, come on in. That's what that would mean. If somebody comes to the door and I'm welcoming, oh, come on in. I'd love to see you. No.
You could welcome success too, though.
I can
Right?
welcome success, but I have difficulty welcoming failure, though, Kate. See, that's the thing. Can I just welcome what is? That's the difference. Can my goal be to accept this moment as it is? I know the vernacular gets and the words are trapping, but I think that's a way to start looking at this. Oscar?
Yeah, when I'm thinking in goals, I'm trapped.
Yes.
I'm lost. I can only let them go. That's the only thing about goals. Please let them go and just let me do whatever needs to be done now, if there is anything that needs to be done, and let me do it as good as possible. For instance, in my work, we have very long term, and you have to long term plan and a goal, and I have to set the goal and so on, and then. But as soon as it is on paper or in a kind of Excel sheet or whatever, I forget about it and try to work in this moment what needs to be done now, and try to do it with as much love as possible, love and attention as possible. And that's it, because when I focus on my goals, I'm out of the moment. And when I'm out of the moment, I'm in my ego. And when I'm in my ego, there's going to be a moment that I want to use any kind of drugs or alcohol or whatever. I don't go there. I don't go there. And when I'm there, I let it go. Thanks to the 12 steps, because I'm not living as a monk. So I have children and I have a house and there needs to be money and there needs to be food and everything. And I have parents and friends and colleagues and everybody needs attention. So it's a normal life. I'm not a monk, but still need to live in the moment. That's where I'm okay. And there I can't have any goals. How can I have a goal in this moment? That I'm not in the moment. Then I'm thinking about a goal. So that's possibility. Then you make a plan. As soon as the plan is on paper, it's done. That's how I try as good as possible.
If you guys aren't familiar with Oscar, look back in the past episodes and he shared his story a while back. If you don't mind me asking, because you've got a job that is very applicable to how you have to have goals and how you have to, if you want to live in the present, how to balance those two things. Because are you working on a TV series right now? Or I'm just curious of,
Yes.
so you're writing, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
So you have all this planned out, which you have to do in your in the way it works, but yet stay present with what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's huge. So you sharing how you're doing that, what you just did, is very applicable. And it's the way you can stay present.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is that I'm more productive than ever, and the results are better than ever.
In your mind, you're not out in the future all the time.
Yeah, I write now from a far more creative place than when I'm writing from my ego. When I write from my ego, it's Oscar who's doing the job. Now I'm not doing the job. I'm just creating the circumstances where the job can be done in this moment. So whatever it is.
So you're more open
Yeah.
to what can arise than before. It was just strictly intellect, research. How can I make this happen? To, where does this go?
Yeah. Yeah, it's more in the flow. Yeah.
Yeah.
More,
That is a childlike attitude.
yeah, that's living in the zone. Living
Yes.
and working in the zone as good as possible.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a goal.
Maybe the goal is just to be.
Yeah.
Goal is not a bad word. It's just
No, definitely
how
not.
it's used. So the toothless one who had no chance of grasping what was being said, his mind, he was asleep. He could not bite the meat of the doctrine, but the teacher was satisfied. Huh. Now, if I was trying to explain something to someone and they fell asleep on me, I would be pissed off. I've taken my time to do this for them, and here he is. And it's not that he has no teeth, as far as physical teeth, he has no teeth. I'm pointing to my brain. He's not able to grasp what I'm saying. He wandered away. The teacher did, singing. He was happy. He wasn't just tolerant. He was happy, singing a song. Body's dry like an old leg bone. His mind is dead as dead ashes. His knowledge is solid. His word is true, because his knowledge was not in his intellect. His wisdom was not in what he mentally understood. He wanders free, without aim and without design, without goal. Who can compare with this toothless man? They say in recovery that, and I've seen this, the more intellect a person has, it seems to be the more difficult time they have in surrendering to their alcoholism in AA, which is all I know, all I've experienced. Kate?
There's this saying, he already has the Tao in him because he's like without, I can't think of the word, without, he's not scheming or planning or trying to do anything.
He thought that he was missing something. So he sought out the teacher, right? Isn't that what it
Right.
says?
Yeah. But he already has it because he is not trying to have it.
He already has it, but he does not realize he has it like every one of us. Dennis, who used to come to, actually, he's from Denmark, Oscar. He lives here now. Dennis used to come to the podcast, and he liked the story of the gods were going to hide enlightenment, hide true wisdom from the humans. They said, where should we hide it? That they cannot find it. Where can we store it? We can't store it in the ocean because they'll find it there. We can't store it on the mountaintop because they'll eventually find it there. And one of them said, oh, I know. We'll put it inside them. They'll never look there. Same deal, I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And don't we find with time, we already have what we need when we start dropping the fear and dropping all the excessive self? We start saying, oh, I really needed nothing. It was already there.
It's within us all along if we can access or learn to access it.
And part of that's learning to be, because everything screams, go, do, not being. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still. Be. That's the progression. And it's all relating back to this ever-present moment. Riding the wave of the ever-present moment all the time. Just being there. That's what compassion does. That's what service does. That's what all of these, if we're out of the moment, the quickest way to get back is, or we never, like you say, Oscar, we never leave the moment. We just have the mistaken perception that we've left. We're always there. Just like Kate, just like we're talking about what we need. The moment is what we need. It's all the present moment. And dropping the things that cause us to try to escape from the moment.
Present moment is the only thing we have, and the rest is hallucination, right? It's nothing.
And it's really the only thing that is, Oscar.
Yeah.
One of my Zen teachers says that there is no past, there is no future, there's only this present moment. What I started doing, those things I couldn't accept and thought they were for sure wrong, I would sit them on a shelf mentally. I said, okay, I don't understand that yet. And with time, I started seeing those things. Just like the statement I said, as far as hope being as hollow as fear, at first, I said, there's no way that's correct. But I'll just leave it alone. And I left it alone until one day I realized that I knew it. It's not that I heard something or I learned something. It's like I remember something I did not remember before. It seems to be how it works. I think you guys have experienced the same kind of thing. Good story, guys. Any comments before we close? Well, you guys have a great week and hope to see you next week. Thank you.
Hello, this is Buddy C. I wanted to make you aware of several recovery-related resources that I've posted in the episode description. These resources include a list of recovery podcasts, a free sober meditation app, daily recovery email, shared Google recovery calendars. Hope you put some of these resources to use and have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Tao of Our Understanding Recovery Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends in recovery.